We are in Millwood, and we've been in Millwood before, and we've crossed this bridge before over the Spokane River, which right now, curiously enough, looks like it's flowing upriver. Might just be the wind or something. And last time we crossed this bridge, we walked on the Centennial Trail in that direction. Today, we're going to turn to the right and do more of the Centennial Trail. We have a community garden here. As far as I understand, we turn here, and this walk is a lot shorter than the last one, which was almost a mile until we find the real trail. But let's find out if that's true. Well, apparently I am on the Centennial Trail. Been walking, I don't know, 1,000 feet or so, and I think the trail part of the trail resumes pretty quickly, but as I've said so many times, I guess we'll find out. Well, this parking lot seems to be the trailhead for the trail proper. Might have to look around a bit to find out where it is. So I can't tell if that's some type of utility building or if that's a restroom. Ah, there we go. Let's check that out first. So this is mile 14, and I will make a comment about that a little bit later. See how many miles we're going to make it today. Well, unfortunately, this restroom is closed for the season. Important thing to keep in mind. So, other than that, I am going to enjoy a very restful walk along the trail. And I think, from what I can see here, what I know about the terrain we're going through, this is going to be one of the more scenic and uninterrupted parts of the Centennial Trail compared to some of the sections before here where I had to walk along the highway. There were a lot of road crossings. But I guess I will find out about that. We have a little side trail here, so I'm going to go off. My schedule today is pretty open, and the main factor in my schedule it is getting dark earlier, and it is cold. But otherwise, I have nothing else to do today. It's a Friday. I could be out as long as I want. So I'm just going to check out some of these side trails and have a relaxing day. So I'm back on the main path. It has kind of a lot of gentle ups and downs. Over to that side, if you can see, there's some water and there's some land on the other side. I don't know if that's a creek. I think that might be seasonal. Sometimes it's a peninsula, sometimes it's an island. But we are a little bit away from the river, but we will probably be back close to the river before too long. So I went a little off path, got back to the river. Ooh, hear a train horn in the distance, and very nice day. Last week in Chihuahua, I said it was a very nice day. It was still the crisp autumn, and before long, it would be the rainy, mushy autumn. And it's a week later, and that isn't true yet. We did have a couple of rainy days, but still a kind of crispness to the air. So about my walk today, I actually considered closing the Logic and going all the way to, I think, Harvard Road, which is where I left the trail when I walked to Idaho. And that's, I think, 9 miles, and what I'm doing today is 4.5 miles on the trail. A little bit more than that when I consider, getting to and from the trail. And I could do either, but it's one of those things where 9 miles, even though I can do that, it might sneak up on me by the end. So I'm taking a more kind of leisurely day. But the Centennial Trail, it's wide and smooth and comfortable. If you're interested in walking it, you can do a lot of it in one day. When you have good weather. Today we have clear skies, but it's cool, so it's a perfect day. But I'm not going to do quite that much. And as you can see, other people are also taking advantage of the day. And as you can see on that side of the river, the south side of the river, we have a line of suburban homes. Very luxurious suburban homes, but that's a suburban neighborhood. And then we look at the trail and we look off to the left. We can see we are out in the country, so to speak, over on the left. This is mile 13, so we've only gone a mile so far from the trailhead. But like I said, not in a hurry. This says Trailhead Islands, and as you can see, we have a bridge here. And you can also see we have a trail that seems to continue this way. And I asked some people about it, and they said there's a fork. So I'm going to go over here to this kiosk, Uzon, como se dice, and see if it has any guide to where to go from here. So apparently, Danny Ashlock Memorial Bridge keeps us on the trail. This goes to Plantes Ferry Park, that direction. But today, we are crossing the bridge, and you know how much I love crossing pedestrian bridges. River. This is looking east, upriver. And you can see there's also some little pieces of rock there. And before this, because of the upriver dam, the water was pretty flat and wide, and here it looks like we're getting back into like a rushing river type terrain, and we will see more of that when we cross the bridge and continue on that side. There's probably an interesting geological story of why these rocks are here, and it's probably connected with that bluff there. And I don't know what it is, but it looks like this marks off an area that is for swimming during the summer months. Probably much too cold for that now, but nice little protected spot to go swimming, which is not what I'm going to do today. I'm going to get back on the trail and continue to go. And here, just a little bit upriver from the rocks, you can see some rushing water, and at different times of the year this is probably quite dramatic. I was just walking along and I noticed this. This looks like some old concrete structure. And my own guess, just from seeing that and knowing where we are, is that at one point this was some type of industrial yard, rail yard, mill or something, and that it went into disuse and then it was removed and they put the trail here. It'd be interesting to know more about the history of that. Sorry, I don't know those things. I don't know the history of every concrete slab I walk across. I mean, right there we have railroad tracks, and beyond that, some type of silos. And right here we have milepost 12. I'm about halfway done with my walk, more or less. It'll be interesting to see how that distance manifests in the real world as opposed to the map. Also, if you look through here, we have more scrubby terrain, more bushes and short deciduous trees. That's because we're on a north-facing slope, I imagine, so more shade in the summer. On the other side, when we're on the other side, and here, you can see it's more open, and we had a lot more of that open ponderosa forest. Could be a lot of factors, but I think the angle of the slope is the main one there. And that makes an interesting walk because we see a lot of different types of terrain. We've been close to the river, far from the river, on hills, on flat ground, so even though it's only been 2 miles, it's an interesting walk. To our right, the path diverges and it goes down to Spokane Valley, to places we've been before, a couple blocks east of the transit center. But today, I am not going that way. I'm going to stay on this path, go under this underpass, and walk another 2 miles or so. Guess we'll find out just how far I have to go. But you can see it's still a nice walk. Cloudy, a little bit windy. I thought maybe I felt a few drops of rain, but I'm not sure, but no real rain yet, so just going to continue walking. So you can see over there we have some old disused bridge supports. We have a lot of electrical wires, and we have some type of substation there. And here it looks like we have a operational or potentially operational railroad bridge. So kind of goes back to what I was saying, is I can see that this area has some type of really intense industrial history, And there is some industry, or a lot of industry still in use here, but then it's also like mixed with re-naturaled areas and residential areas and commercial areas. So kind of a diversity of land uses here, I would say. Over on the other side of the road is Mirabeau Point Park, I believe it is called. Well, that says Mirabeau Meadows. Don't know what that means. But in any case, there is some type of park there, and when I was getting ready to go here, I was like, yeah, I'll stop and walk in there. But now I've been walking for a while, and there's more trail this way, so I don't think there's a specific reason to stop at that park today. And this is also mile 11. As you remember, we started at mile 14. Means we have gone 3 miles, right? Yeah. And should be another mile to go. And here, near here, the river is more free-flowing. It's actually going quite rapidly. You can see it losing elevation, and there's white water there. You can see over on the right, we have a bunch of apartment buildings. Presumably, well, some type of housing. That could be a number of different things, but presumably apartment buildings. And along this road, we've seen a number of physical landscapes and terrain types, and we've seen the river change and the land around it change. We've also seen different land uses, and this is only a couple miles, so a lot of different things to look for. And I don't know the entire story of everything. Well, there's Kaiser Aluminum. There's the story right there. But I can tell there's a diverse history both in the natural landscape and the human uses of this landscape. I don't know how clear this comes across in the video, but you might have noticed everywhere I've shown the path in the video, it is perfectly smooth, well-maintained, and wide. And that's not just a coincidence of the shots I took. Like, pretty much the entire path from when I started to here, perfect for pedestrians and for bicyclists. Very wide and smooth. So really nice path physically. So this is mile 10. So I'm going to stop and check my phone here because don't want to overshoot where I want to get off the trail. That should be within half a mile from what I know, a couple thousand feet, but I'm going to stop and check where to get off. And this is something that's been conspicuous by its absence. I'm going to re-record this section. You can see, maybe you saw for a second, songbird hopping somewhere in the branch of this tree. Might be a creeper the way it was walking around. Whoa! On this trip, I have not seen a lot of wildlife. I saw some ducks, some crows, possibly saw a red-tailed hawk. I'll see if I actually got that on camera. But have not seen any macrofauna. And even as far as birds go, and even as far as songbirds go, where are they gone now? Haven't seen much. And that might be the time of year, but not a really rich trip as far as wildlife goes. You know, it's not terrible. The wildlife isn't there to entertain me, but I was a little bit surprised that I didn't see a couple more, you know, birds or squirrels or something like that. And in other news, I think I remember this place. I think I remember this bridge and this little underpass, so never did check my map because I don't need to because I've been here before. So came here a couple months ago. It was like 100 Fahrenheit that day when I went to the mall. And I crossed over here and I saw this and I think I said I'll come back. So this is where I'm going to end my trip. Before I do that though, I'm actually going to go back to the river and make some notes. So to sum up, I would say this section of the trail was a lot better than about the 6 miles west of Millwood, which had a lot of places where the trail wasn't clearly marked or was right along the highway. It was just noisy. There was a couple nice spots in there, but you kind of had to make it work. And really the only thing that would compare to this is area around Bowl and Pitcher. The other parts of the Centennial Trail are kind of nice as like a little urban walking trail, but this is where you really get into, you can get away, have some amount of solitude. It's busy at points, but like it is a nature experience, not like an urban walking trail through most of this that I took today. And that might fit what you were looking for. And like I said, really well maintained, smooth trail, separated from roads, so you don't have to worry about that. So I would definitely say that if you do want to see part of the Centennial Trail in Spokane and you have a choice, come out and see this section that probably continues somewhat to the east, or do the Spokane Falls Community College, northwest of Bowl and Pitcher. Stuff in between is at places nice as like an urban hiking trail, easier to get on and off of buses and stuff like that, but a little bit different of experience, and in some places it's really difficult, at least right now. So I would give this a good grade. I like doing this today, and you can judge for yourself based on what you saw. And yeah, hopefully I just can continue it so I can say I've done everything from Bowl and Pitcher up to Post Falls, up to Idaho. But that was the trip for today. So after all that nature, now we're next to the mall, and you can see there's a bus stop here. So just to jump on the number 7 bus, which is new by the way, I go downtown, or I go to grocery outlet, get some food. So that concludes the adventure for the day. Next week there's going to be something interesting is the plan, so keep tuned. Might be a little bit late because I'll be traveling next weekend, but the videos will be up soon. But I hope you liked today, and yeah, that's it. Tracker says my bus is going to be here in like 2 minutes. One final note, right now it is a few minutes after 3. I left downtown at 11:50, so this entire adventure, taking the bus out to Millwood and then walking all the way here, 3 hours. A lot of days I would still be inside, hitting refresh on Reddit and telling people they were wrong about trains, which they are, don't get me wrong. So even this nice little adventure like this, not super epic, but for me, really kind of made my day. Anyway, that was my last moment before the bus comes any minute now, right? Right?